All right, well, why don't we call the meeting to order, the Manhan Rail Trail Committee, September 13th, 2021. Let's see, we can start with approval of the minutes from the August 2nd, 2021 meeting. I sent that out with the agenda. Any comments, corrections, or other discussion? Very thorough, Steve.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Look good to me.
Yep. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the August 2nd meeting?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
Second. All those in favor, whoever was here.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. John, can you put your camera on?
I don't know how to do it.
Go down to the bottom and look for the little video thing.
It's a little icon.
The picture of the camera.
Picture the camera.
Start video.
There you go.
And Terry, I take the minutes. May I ask your last name, please?
Bukowski. Do you want me to spell that?
I certainly do.
Oh, Buckowski.
Oh, not so bad. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so why don't we start with Terry? You probably know that Easthampton has been working on getting a senior tax work-off program up and running. And Terry is our person. she's the one that has been directed to us to be our bike path senior tax work-off helper. And I only today sent her the summary of what she's supposed to do. Did you get that okay?
I did.
Okay. So I sent it out to everybody on the committee too, so we would know what the general duties were. I just thought it would be nice if we met her and everybody. If you have any comments on things that you would like to see her work on, I'd like you to jump in and we can discuss kind of what projects there are out there that she might be able to help us with. John and Peter, you're big people.
You may be sorry after you hear all this. So.
Oh, really? Try me.
So I think it's going to go without saying that she's going to be helping with trash pickup and riding the trail and keeping us abreast of any issues that may have come up. If there's any graffiti that shows up anywhere, we can have her deal with either cleaning it or scraping it or painting over it. She says she's probably willing to do some trimming of some vines and maybe do a little fence line cleanup. That would be really, really helpful. Terry, do you have any thoughts on what you think you'd like to do?
Well, initially I was thinking maybe it would be some trimming of branches or any plants that are getting out of control, on either side, on both sides of the rail trail. Alerting you to anything that's amiss or a safety hazard. I'm trying to think what else. And I have no problem with weeding. In general, you'll see I'm a t-shirt kind of gal. So I own my own home, so I try to do as much as I can myself in maintaining my home. So, and I like to be physical every day in getting exercise. And I do ride the bike path or walk it probably at least once a week on my own. And every day my goal is to get out there and get some exercise unless the weather is really bad.
Yeah.
So I like being outdoors. And if I don't know how to do something, if someone shows me, I'm willing to learn. I'm kind of up for the challenge.
Yeah. Well, I told her, I mean, it's going to be pretty much up to her, like what's the schedule that she'd like to keep. It's like 4 to 8 hours a week. And I think that probably shouldn't be hard to do. It's going to, I'm not going to be out there, making her, check in and check out. I think we can trust you to be honest about the time that you put out there. John,
So Barb, will you be like the liaison, the point person with
Yep.
Terry, or?
Yep, she's technically going to be a Park and Rec employee, so they're going to be handling the time sheets, but I do have to talk to John Mason and see exactly how that's going to work. I do want to set up a time, either John or Peter, if you're able to show her the shed and give her a rundown of what we have in the shed that she might be able to use. So.
Barb, if we don't have a tool, can she use something from Parks and Rec if she needs it, or how's that going to work?
I'm not sure what kind of tools they have. I think we probably have it, pretty much a good supply of what she might need.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if you have stuff that you own that you feel comfortable with using, I think that'd be fine too.
Okay.
Well, we have some basic stuff in the shed. I mean, a pair of loppers and a pair of hand pruners, correct, John? Still hanging up there?
Yeah, and a weed whacker.
Okay.
And I think there might be I don't know if the weed whacker has a blade attachment. I think it has one of those the thing you bought.
That's a little dangerous, John.
Yeah.
That thing, you get out of control, you're going to cut something off.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to use that. Yeah, I think we need to all, if John or Peter, if you can go, we'd love you to. And Terry, I mean, I can go and we can just say, this is what we've got, just because otherwise you're not going to know what's in there. We can
Right.
get you your own key to the shed so you can, kind of get what you need and lock it back up. There's trash bags in there. There's some paint and, stuff like that.
Something to cover graffiti.
Peter, you can, what do you
Or
usually
wash
do?
it off, depends what it's on. If it's on signs, it's got to be washed off with a graffiti remover. We usually use rubber gloves, there's paper towels, there's a short bristled brush in there. If it's on the wooden fence, we have a paint scraper or usually gray paint does a pretty good job of masking, can of spray paint masking over the graffiti. Try to usually scrape it as much as possible at first. That gets the heaviest part off. And then the stuff that's ingrained in the grain of the wood, then you can just, a light coating of paint usually does the rest of the trick, so.
Yeah, on
That
the
probably
page.
doesn't happen too often. Or it's unpredictable.
Yeah, I haven't been out there, so I really don't know what things look like right now.
I really haven't noticed that much through the years myself.
No, it's usually not too bad. You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
every meeting, maybe every other meeting, we talk, someone finds a new one or something. So it's pretty rare, I think.
Yeah, sometimes it'll show up on the pavement, and Peter, usually what you would do with that is just put black paint, right? Like a block of it, or.
Right, we have the tools and the equipment to do that. It's a hand sprayer, so you don't have to bend down. It's upside down marking paint. Locks into the hand sprayer. It's trigger controlled. You just move it around, walk around there and cover and blend in whatever they wrote so you can't tell what it says. That's basically it.
Mhm.
That brings to mind, recently when I've been on the rail trail, what I'm seeing is on the wood railing itself, people have written, say my name, and then whatever the name of the person. Have you seen that?
Oh,
There was some graffiti on the fence down by the Lovefield Street Bridge. Annette painted over that. One of our other members, she took care of that. But something like that we like to clean it up.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if we agree with the sympathy of the
Yeah.
of the message.
Oh, and another couple things it just made me think of. Sometimes people will put signs on the bike path. We're talking, things that are not necessarily bad. They might be like a bike event, or I don't know, like an event
A
sign.
tag sale.
Anything. Yep.
Yes.
They're not allowed on city property. So if you're out and about and you see a sign, pull it.
Okay.
Yeah, none of those signs are allowed on the bike path. I'd also like to have you keep an eye on the doggy pot, the bag dispensers.
I'm glad you said that.
Yep.
I noticed one day last week, I looked, I don't have a dog, but I looked and I saw, oh yeah, there was none in that dispenser. That was Pullman Road. It was empty.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Well, I've got a bunch of those. I just got thinking, and also keeping the brochures full until we run out of the brochures.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is probably in the shed.
I have those. I'll probably sit down and write up some of the things. Like I can move some of the doggy pot bags into the shed.
Okay.
Well, that's a good idea.
Brochures, I'd rather have you come to my office when you need more of those. But we can talk those details. But things like that would be really good to have somebody do for us.
Yeah. I do see every now and then someone might use a doggy bag. Well, I call it a doggy bag, but they use it and tie it up, and then they just leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess I'd be the person picking those up then, right? Which is fine, whatever. I mean, as long as I have the right tools to do my job, I have no problem.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, make sure you wear gloves. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And just
And
take a
especially with
plastic
COVID.
bag.
What's that?
And just take a plastic bag,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm seeing this as kind of something that will evolve. And the more that you're out there, I think the more that you'll kind of keep an eye on things that you'll start to know, like, oh, this needs fixing, or this you'll the more that you're out there, I think the more that you'll see like what there is to do. And
Well, when you especially from the trees, when you get small twigs and branches down on the trail, clear them off, throw them right over the edge of the fence, or don't put them in the mowing area. Make sure they go beyond that, and then that's also a big help too.
Yeah. And if there's anything bigger, then lots of times we can call John and he can come and chainsaw it up, or the DPW.
Okay. So I'm kind of curious about two things in the past that have happened when I've been on the rail trail. One was before COVID, and it was one of the base plates to the nice, tall, black lights that are up by the mills. One of the panels at the base was gone and the wires were exposed.
Okay.
And so it was so long ago. Someone got the message because it did get fixed.
Yeah.
And then eventually I saw there were numbers that were put on each light post. Yep. And I thought, wow, that's great. If you ever have to report something, you know exactly where's the location.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, because Annette, who is not on here tonight, one of our committee members, she told me the other night at Mill Pond Live that one of the lights was out, and she today told me what number it was, and then I just passed that along to the Public Works Department. But yeah, that's what's nice about those numbers, because you can write down at light pole number 14 the panel's missing, and then I would just pass it along to DPW. Yeah.
And then another thing, I'm sort of thinking maybe I sent the email to Barb recently, and it was after a storm that we had. And I'm just curious if you remember this, but I sent an email, and what I said was there was a a limb that came down on the bike path. Does anyone remember this? Because then I did check it like I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 days later. I just was taking my walk and I saw someone had taken care of it and had sawed it up. But I was just curious if anyone else had reported it, or was my email useful in promoting that it be taken care of?
Yeah, we get emails directly. I mean, I'll get emails directly from people, but sometimes dispatch, if people call the police department, then they'll reach out to us. And we've kind of found with trees and limbs and things like that, if people see them, they just go and they sometimes will just cut them up. You know, sometimes the tree limbs come down and they damage the fence, which there is one that had that happen down near South Street and we still haven't fixed it. But yeah, no, phone calls, emails, those are all very useful. You know, if I get one, we try to send it along to somebody who can take care of the problem.
Okay. I mean, so that's something that would those emails get looked at every day? I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, if it comes into me, I look at my email every day. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I'll keep you in mind, definitely.
Yeah. Well, you can come in and I will be your contact for anything that you see out there.
Okay.
We also get emails from the public that come into the website, and that goes to Barbara and me. So same thing, if I see something that comes in, I'll pass it along. I'll CC Barbara, and then we'll decide where it should go or what should happen.
Actually, now that we're talking about that made me realize I don't know if you guys introduced yourself, but I didn't. So I'm Steve Donnelly, and I'm the secretary. So I take the minutes. That's why I asked before for the spelling of your name. So Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What was I just going to say? Oh, and there is a new feature on the website that's called Report It, I think it is. So I think that if people use that feature on the website and it's something bike path related, it would get to either me or the Public Works or something like that. So that is a new feature of our new website.
The town website.
You should clarify, not the Manhan Rail Trail website, but the city.
Oh, right. The easthamptonma.gov, the city website.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we have our own website, but the city is, I'm talking about the city one.
Okay.
John, is there a day, or Terry and John, is there a day that we could maybe meet at the shed and just go over what's in there?
How about Wednesday, this coming Wednesday or after 3?
Okay.
That will work for me.
Okay.
So 3
Wednesday around 3?
3 p.m.
Yeah. I should be back because we got to meet with the utility company at 1:30.
Yep.
Terry, that's right near the mural. The shed.
Well, it's across from the Williston parking spot there. Right
Actually, Terry, why don't you come to my office and then we can grab a couple of those doggy pot bags and we can walk them up to the shed.
All right, so go to your office first.
Yep. So 3 o'clock on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay.
Rain or shine?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just so you know, I used to be a letter carrier. So that's why I really like the outdoors.
Okay.
Great.
And even though I worked in all kinds of weather, I'm not anticipating that that's part of this job now that I'm retired.
All right. Is there anything else that we need to warn her about?
Yeah.
Well, the main thing now on a trail is keeping back the overhang along the railings, where the town can't get with the machine. So,
right.
Yeah.
I just know that one of my concerns is I've been going on some more hikes, Mount Tom hikes, and getting a little more education about plants and stuff. And definitely in my family, my sister has had some bad episodes with poison ivy. And recently I was on the bike trail and, I have the Seek app. So, and I've been curious, I want to know what's poison before I touch anything. And so I did find some. And so that's one of my concerns is, so I do know how to recognize it. I don't know if 100% of the time, but some, I know about the 3 leaves and, so, and I did see some of that growing on the railing there, the wooden railing.
Yeah. Oh, there's especially
so I won't be touching that.
Yeah, especially down near the Oxbow area.
Okay.
There's quite a bit down there.
And this wasn't by the Oxbow; it was down more to the other end.
There's some by the on the other end, by the Willison property.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but there are a lot of grapevines too, which I know because when you turn onto the bike path from South Street, and there was a thing that was like leaning like way over, and I just happened to be going by and I had my clippers with me. So I went out and I tried to cut it up a little bit. Of course, I was grabbing on a grapevine and it kind of came loose and I fell backwards and actually hit my head right on the pavement.
Oh, Jesus.
I must have a very hard head because I was okay.
Oh, wow.
But
you're lucky.
It was, yeah, I know. I was a little scary, but it was a big it was all grapevine. It wasn't poison ivy. It was grapevine. So, but.
I'll be wearing gloves, so just in case. Yeah.
Okay, great. So Wednesday at 3:00, come to my office and we'll take a walk up and we'll give you a tour of the shed.
Okay.
And I'll get you, I don't know where to get keys these days because Manchester's is closed, but we'll get you a set of keys for the.
Abushan probably.
Yeah, I think Abushan does it.
Okay. I'll look into that.
And they've really expanded because,
They have.
they've really increased their business.
Yep. Okay. All right. Great. So if anybody sees anything out there that we can, tell Terry to take care of, now we have somebody to tell to get to work.
So I'm just curious, do any of you walk the rail trail every now and then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Walk it and bike it.
So I might bump into somebody maybe along the way.
Oh, you will for sure. You'll probably start to see regulars. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be doing the trail more once it's dark, and then that lighted part is great. I mean, it really does increase the amount of time you can spend walking in nature. It's great.
Yep. All right. A couple other, we'll kind of move on to, let's go on to, while we're on maintenance, go on to trail maintenance update. John, do you have anything?
Yeah, well, a couple of weeks ago, I got the tractor running. I put the battery back in, and I actually blew some debris from storm from the shed onto the entrance to Coleman Road.
Oh.
And I did some pruning along the way too. It was a lot of overhang here and there, so I did the worst of it anyway. So, and I'll be going out, pretty soon with the tractor again because the leaves will be starting to fall in another week or two.
Week or two, come on.
Well, some of the maples are starting to turn.
Some of them are, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So speaking of John and I on Wednesday are meeting, and anybody else wants to come with us is more than welcome to. We're meeting at 1:30 down at the Route 5 end of the trail with the landscaper that's the Eversource is working with for the landscape work. So I don't know if anybody's been down there, but the trees have been taken down. They had a problem with the chipper. So they cut them on Thursday, but they had to leave everything kind of there because they had a problem with the chipper now. I hope that it has been cleared up.
No, I was there today.
Yeah.
Checking out the planting, and they were working. I think they may have had the chipper going, but I haven't heard it. But I mean, anyway, there's a lot of logs and brush along the path that they haven't chipped up yet. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The DPW superintendent called to tell me that they had a problem with the chipper, so they weren't able to like get rid of it right away. Beverly had called and she was pretty worked up about it.
Well, the city has to do the cleanup?
What?
The city is doing the cleanup?
No, Eversource is.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Sorry.
Terry, just to fill you in a little bit, the Route 5 end of the trail, Eversource took down some of the trees that they felt could possibly cause damage if they fell towards the power station. And they're going to be working with us to redo the landscaping to make up for the trees coming out. So John and I are meeting down there with the landscaper at 1:30 on Wednesday to talk about what this landscaper thinks he could do.
Okay, sounds good.
yeah, there's one tree that they left, one cherry tree left, and then that needs a lot of pruning. That's kind of on its way out, but it can be saved for a while anyway. So I can work on that my own time.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I wanted you to be there, John, because
Yeah.
yeah. But if anybody else wants to come down, that 1:30 on Wednesday.
Hey, Barb, I noticed that on nice weekends, a lot of that parking area on Route 5 at the trailhead is being used by people who are going boating, that they bring their boats in and they park there, so that people who may want to use the trail and want to park there maybe can't. I don't know whether that's an issue we should sort of.
Well, the only thing is that's not an official parking lot. That parking kind of just formed there, and it's really not ours, and it's not an official parking lot for the bike path. It just kind of that's what happened, right, Wendy?
You're muted, Wendy.
That's my recollection too. I think it came up actually during the discussion about the Dunkin' Donuts and that whole end of the trail. And, the question is whether people start parking in the Dunkin' Donuts or the Dunkin', I guess it doesn't use donuts anymore, the Dunkin' parking lot when it's built.
Well, who actually owns that plot of land where people park right at the end of our trail? Is that owned by the city or is that owned by?
I'm not sure of the exact lines. I wouldn't be surprised if part of it's the power company property. So that's why, David, I don't think there's anything that we can't post signs or, ask the police to go down and have the boat trailers towed or anything, because it's really an unofficial parking area. It's formed into kind of a nice little parking area all by itself, but it's not officially parking for the trail. So, yeah, I know.
Good point. So.
Yeah. So did I mention at the last meeting that Tom Kozel, he was our Adopt the Trail person for right there at the intersection where the trail crosses Ferry Street, how he was looking to, give that up. And he had approached Eric from Fort Hill Brewery to see if he wanted to do it. And he is willing to do it. So, and Tom is willing to tell him what to do and keep an eye on him and make sure he's doing it. So it was really important to Tom that that his sign goes away and that we get a new sign for Fort Hill Brewery. So based on a recommendation from the DPW, I reached out to a company at the Paragon building, and they're making us a sign. I should be delivered tomorrow. So we're going to put that up, and Fort Hill Brewery is going to become the new adoptee for that section.
Great, wonderful.
Yep, and I'm going to let Tom know, and then he's going to keep on top and make sure that mostly I think what he did was like trim around the fence and, make sure it looked neat.
So Barb, your mention of a sign triggered something, reminded me of something. So sorry, this is kind of out of order, but were we going to follow up? I'm hoping the answer is yes, and get us a street sign at that intersection where we don't have one right now, or 2 street signs.
Yeah, what does your minutes say on that?
I think that we were going to follow up.
What wasn't the DPW director going to look at that?
They're going to look at that, but my suggestion is that I'm sure they will put up a new street sign. But and the reason we didn't put ours up is because there was another street sign. But I think the street sign on every other sign, it's right in the line of sight. Everyone knows where to look and know that you're crossing this street now, except for on that one intersection where we relied on the other street sign. So I'd like to just.
Was that Lovefield Street?
Yes, Lovefield. Yeah. The street that's crossed twice, Lovefield, right.
Okay, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I figured. And the only reason I remembered is because you mentioned signs.
Yeah, well, I have to say that the sign for the adoptee thing was shockingly expensive.
Oh, really?
Apparently aluminum is very expensive right now, but the street signs are smaller. The other adopted trail, it's like 6 inches by 30 inches.
Yeah.
It was
we made a bunch of them. Yeah.
How much?
We made a bunch of them for all the street signs. Say again.
Yeah. $205.
Wow.
Yeah, he said aluminum has gone through the roof.
Holy man.
Yeah.
And does the adoptee pay for that?
No, we pay for it. I did notice down on South Street that we still have an adoptee sign for Craig Della Penna. I don't even know if he's still a member of the Friends.
Yeah,
So
we should remove that.
Actually,
that could be something maybe that Terry could do.
Yeah. Oh, Peter, that was my question. How are those signs put on? Do you know?
Well, wait. Can I go back for a minute? Rather than just take the sign down, it's very possible, Yuki, it's very possible that Craig would be willing to make another donation to keep the sign up. So maybe we should talk to him rather than just taking the sign down.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I can talk to him if you like.
Yeah, it says something about his trail side group of, I don't really know if it's really accurate, but
Okay.
if you want to ask him about it, that would be wonderful.
All right. Is there like an official policy, like when you pay for one of these? I assume he paid a certain amount of money. Does it last for like X amount of years, or what's?
Well, I think if all he's going to do is just support it by financially, I think he should pay every single year, at least $250, or something like that.
All right. So let me so it's a trail adoptee sign.
Yeah, it's right on the fence when you cross South Street heading towards Coleman Road.
Okay.
And maybe we should define what section. We might get other people, and we're going to have to start delineating the sections. How far down is Fort Street Brewery?
Oh, they're just doing the intersection, just the crossing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are they paying money, or are they physically doing the work?
They're physically doing the work.
Did they also buy that plot of land that's adjacent to the trail on?
Yes.
So if they're taking care of that, I mean, it's not that hard for them to take care of the intersection.
Right, right. It's weed whacking kind of work. So Peter, are those put on with the tamper-proof screws or not?
All right. I'm gonna guess probably not. The ones I usually use the tamper-proof special bit and screws for were the ones people really were mad at, which was to pick up your dog poop signs, and they would try to rip them off and throw them like frisbees. The Adopta trail is probably on with just straight Phillips screws, and that would be easy to tell. I mean, if the screw has got a basic Phillips X to it, it'll come out normally. If the screw has only got 3 wings to it, then it's my special reverse tamper-proof screws with a special bit, which is in the cabinet in the trail shed, but you need a driver, so you got to come with a screw gun to do that.
Well, I'm assuming it must, now that I think of it, it must just be regular screws, because Tom removed his sign. He took it down. So that must have just been up. So I'll have Rich, we'll go out and we'll put up the new sign. He'll just put it up with the regular screws.
And how much did you say that cost, Barb, again? I do want to get that.
$105.
105?
200.
205.
Yeah, I know.
No discount for being a nonprofit? They couldn't make it a donation, huh?
Well, there was no tax on it. I gave him our tax ID number.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was like, whoa. But yeah, he said aluminum's really, he said he could have done a banner for like 90, but I'm like, that's not going to work. So there, yeah. Oh, John's gone. Oh, Peter, do you know if we have hedge trimmers in the shed?
You mean the loppers where you just squeeze and cut?
Yeah, well, kind of thinking of battery powered. Well, just
No.
because Annette says that the bushes behind the benches, on Union Street are getting really big and need to be trimmed. But
No. If anything, we might have a pair of hand hedge trimmer shears in there, but
okay.
the only other thing would be that big heavy gator that for the weed whacker that I used for maintenance before.
Okay, we'll have to look at that. All right. Does anybody else have any trail related issues?
There's still that little sinkhole behind Eastworks.
It's still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll remind Greg.
I mean, even if that can't be paved over, if they could maybe just fill it with dirt, so at least it's level with the ground, so you're not going to somehow accidentally step in it and twist an ankle.
I'll send Greg an email to remind him about that, because he said he was going to take care of that.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that?
He did.
He did.
He did.
Okay, I'll send it. He might have just forgotten.
So
Okay.
I don't know if, Peter, you can answer this question. John's gone, but where we've had certain sections repaved, and where the new section meets the old section, there's a lip, there's a seam. And when you're riding your bike, after a couple of years, sometimes that can be a little bit of a jolt. Is there such a thing as like a cartridge, a crack filler that could kind of even that out? And would it stay, or would it just come right out after a winter?
Okay, you could pick up a cartridge of asphalt crack filler at for any caulking gun at Aubuchon's at this point. Obviously, Manchester's gone. It's not going to even it out because there's a height change there, but you can fill in the gap which might, especially before winter, prevent water from going in there, which is going to freeze and heave stuff more. So as a preventative thing, you just pick up a tube of that stuff and trim the end and just squirt it really good in there. And but you're not going to even it out. The only way you could even it out is to soften it up with a torch or a flamethrower, and then you pound it down with a tamper, and that might kind of level it out.
Well, I think I was thinking more where it comes, and not that it's this way, but where it just kind of comes down to a little dip, and you hit that little valley, and if you're not careful, you knock your teeth out. So it just seems like we could just fill some of those in.
Well, maybe I could ask Greg to see if the guys could go out with, I mean, they have that sealer stuff they put in the road.
Right.
Or maybe they could just go out with just a little bit of blacktop and just try to smooth it.
Yeah,
That'd be great. That's a good idea.
That
really
is, because it's not a homeowner fix with that if you want it right.
Okay. I'll mention that when I talk to him about the sinkhole, because maybe they could do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, just one, maybe we should, John, do you have any update on Williston, the lights?
Yeah, so I'm back in touch with Brian from Williston, and I was kind of out of commission for the summer, so I apologize for that. But we're back in talks, and I'm going to be meeting with him likely next week. So I'm going to let you know, obviously I'm going to schmooze as much as I can to see what I can get them to do. But I'm hoping they at least buy everything, if not do everything. But if I'm going to get the DPW involved to try to work on it with them, I'll let you know. So I guess at this point, just look out for the emails for this month. And I'll try to email everyone if I have questions for you guys, because I would like to get this moving in this next month as far as like, you know, the real actual planning and laying out of this stuff. He knows, he hasn't been the manager of the facilities head for that long, but he really knows the grounds well. And I think he has some really good ideas.
Great.
As far as, like, because
What
he
is the
knows
project?
where, he's really good with knowing where, like, you know, stuff is underground now that was installed before and where it goes. So that can be really helpful as far as like where we want to grab power from to, you know.
So Terry, in answer to your question, what we're trying to get Williston and or the city to do is continue the lighting from where it ends now up to, well, not from the Williston parking lot where the shed is, up to the Williston ice skating rink.
Okay.
So that's, we're hoping that will add another, probably close to a mile of lighted.
Because the Williston students must use the bike path
Yes.
a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And
They use
so
it a
in
lot
general,
to walk back and forth.
yeah.
It's a great selling
general-
point for the school.
Yes. I was going to say, in general, I'm never out at nighttime on the bike path, but so it does get used at not as much, but
Oh, the lighted path, it's almost like daylight. You can walk safely in that area. At least maybe it's different for a lone female, but I feel it's, you know, it's very safe. It is very bright, and it's not entirely like daylight, but it's close enough that it really is a nice experience. You know?
Right. And I think now that, you know, the days are getting shorter, you know, before too long at 5 o'clock, you know, so it's especially nice as the days get shorter. But David, I'm sure like the other night for the Mill Pond Live, I had friends that like you did, you probably walked back and it was getting dark. And I had friends that said it was terrific on the lighted area. Not so much past there, but it was really nice to have it be lit. So
Yeah, I mean, it works out great for, like, you know, people who may be commuting through, like especially during the months where the daylight ends early, or folks who are going over to Eastworks or whatever between Union Street. It's great.
Yeah, the whole new section in Westfield that's downtown that they're finishing up is lit the whole way.
Great.
It's necessary because it's actually right downtown over the city, but it's just going to be spectacular.
Is it rideable now, John, or are they still keeping people off of it?
No, last time I was there, they still have a bit of work to do on the main bridge over Elm Street.
Yeah.
And I think last time I was there, it looked like it was really just about ready to be paved.
Wow.
So you might be able to ride it from there back down to Stop and Shop soon. They were doing major work on the bridge over Main Street today with like man lifts and things. They have to still put the sides on it. But it'll be done, this fall.
That's fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Barb, speaking of the Millside Live, is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
Mill Pond Live. So I did get rid of some bells and some brochures. I think the way that we were seated and the fact that we were there an hour before, and then most of us left at 6 or a little after, maybe, I don't know if that was ideal, but I felt like...
How many groups were there?
You mean playing music?
No, I mean committees.
Oh, how many committees? Half a dozen, maybe 7-ish, 8-ish.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
But I felt that if I just sat there, people are just coming in and going to find their spot on the lawn.
Right.
I had to go out and stop people and say, hey, do you ride the bike path? Do you have a bell? And then I would go on to try to convince them to join. So I do have some memberships to hand in to you.
Okay.
Somebody gave me cash. I've got to give that to you.
Okay.
And I'll return the bells that I didn't hand out. And I was going to keep the brochures for the Coleman Road entrance, but if Terry's going to do it, I'll return them to you as well and let her take care of that.
Okay. Great.
What's with
Well,
the
thanks for doing that, Wendy.
So we have bells, bike bells that go on your handlebars.
Okay.
So that bikers alert people that they're passing so that they don't startle them and have them move over. And it has our logo on it, and it's a promotional item that we give out at events like the Mill Pond Park.
Okay,
concert.
great.
And when they're gone, they're gone. So, yeah. But having that little sign was perfect.
Oh, good.
And yeah, so that was a good little step.
Thanks for volunteering to do that. Well,
No
or
problem.
twist your arm to do it.
I know, you owe me.
Can I ask one other question? What happens in the winter on the bike path?
It's cold.
It's
Well-
what, cold? Does anybody plow it? Is there a section that gets plowed, like Williston section
Yep.
maybe?
Yep. So
Yes.
Williston, at least last year, and I think the year before, they plow a pretty good chunk from like the ice skating rink. I think they did it all the way down to Ferry Street.
Wow.
Then there are other sections that have been done, and we don't know who does it.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah. So the city can't, they don't have the equipment to do it. But last year, not that we had that much snow last year, but a pretty good chunk of it was plowed. But we truthfully do not know who did the parts besides Williston. I think it was pretty clear that people really liked it. But yeah.
I think we found out there's a guy that has a quad down on Pleasant Ave that lives down there. He was plowing it
Yeah.
from
I mean,
50th Street on.
I think it's great if somebody wants to do that. I'm
And
afraid that,
we have told the city that we get feedback all the time that people want it plowed, so they know. And we're still trying to help them find a way to do it so
Yeah.
that the whole thing is plowed, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, they don't have the equipment, but they don't have the equipment or the manpower to do it. So whatever volunteers and Williston can do it, I think we'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. One last trail thing, and then we need to talk about the Friends meeting a little bit. So I sent you a copy of the letter that Bruce from the Little Free Library sent. I sent that. Did everybody see that?
Yep.
So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to keep on doing that. So, but I think I have somebody that can do it. And he lives right here in my house. I got thinking, Rich is a big Little Free Library guy, and he's got carpentry skills. So I think we're going to take it over. Unless somebody here saw that email and really wants to have that little project.
Oh, darn it, Barb. I was just about to volunteer to do
No.
that.
But
You're breaking my heart, Barb.
I know, I mean, if you know of anybody, but I think that I think we can do that.
That's great.
I think that's
fantastic.
awesome. Great.
All right, so
Thank you.
that's what we'll do. So on to the, anything else trail related?
Oh, yes, at the concert, I talked to a few people, city officials and council people. So we talked about, the city taking over maintenance of the trail over a 5-year plan. And we also talked a little bit about connections that are being proposed.
Yeah.
And what I got, I'm not going to quote anybody directly because this is a public meeting, but what the feeling I got was there's some pushback about making those connections because of the maintenance. And so my response was that we as a committee would support whatever efforts it took politically to make that happen, to find the resources to make those connections and find a way to maintain them. So maybe
I can't see that being an argument that's going to stop a connection. If someone, sure, people can bitch about that, but it's not going to, if the community, wants a school connected to the trail, we're going to connect it to the trail, whether some people don't like the added maintenance they have to do or not. I really don't think we have to worry that much about it. But.
Well, I think it's the city. I think the city maybe feels it doesn't have the resources.
You weren't talking to somebody from the park department, were you?
No.
Okay, because just as an FYI to everybody, the Park and Rec Department is meeting next Wednesday on Zoom. And one of the items on their agenda, it was regarding the bike path. So I asked them about what they were talking about. And it was the connector between the park and the school. They're going to be talking about that. So that is an item on their agenda for next Wednesday, if anybody wants to go.
I can't, but I think as many people as from our committee who can go should attend. It's virtual, right? I assume.
Right.
So that's the 17th?
The 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah, I have a city council meeting and I'm going to be at a conference, so I can't be there.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to go, I think
What time is it, Barb?
I think it's at 6 o'clock. I've already posted the agenda on the website. The city website. The Zoom connection info is right on it.
And I don't know what we can do. We don't have the resources either, but I think we might be able to write support letters or get politically involved somehow to.
What was it, mostly the school connector they were talking about?
They just said about all these connections.
Oh, because I don't really know about any other ones besides that one right now.
Well, I think we were looking into connecting right along Payson Avenue to get down onto Williston Ave, to get off down to the downtown
Yeah.
the boardwalk there by the pond. I think there were some other.
Oh, right,
connections.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really heard much about that lately. I think the main connector they're talking about right now is to the new school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, just know that might be a little bit of a battle, and I think we should be ready to lend support if need be.
I heard it was just that Williston doesn't want to allow the right of way, possibly.
They don't want to what?
Allow the right of way, because most of it's going through Williston property.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah,
thought
it's
it was going.
Through that field and down in the woods where there's already a bridge. It goes next to their track fields, and then down in the woods, there's already a bridge in the woods, and then it comes out right at the school, at the middle school. So they have to allow a right of way all along their tracks. So there's talks that they're going to reroute it, the connector, into the park instead, into Nonagon.
Maybe that's part of why they're talking about it at the park department. Yep.
Which would be, just as good, really.
Sure.
Wasn't this already recommended in whoever they assigned to do that report? I forget what.
The master plan revision, the revision to the.
Well, both of these were proposed in that. Both of these ideas or concepts in that.
Okay.
Through the school and through the park.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, good to know, Wendy.
Okay.
Okay. So we got to think about our friends meeting in October. Basically, I think, we just have to have it just because we have to have it. Is there any date, any Monday that's better for other people than others?
Well, before we set the date, let me throw something out that, whether we should be more proactive in trying to get different people to serve as president and all these committees or positions. We just kind of reelect ourselves, and I don't know if that's very democratic. I feel like we should give people an opportunity to jump in. And I'm not sure how to do that in advance of the meeting, because right now, do we have an email list for the Friends? An operational?
No, we'd have to do the mailing. I mean, we'll do the regular mailing just like we always do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
that goes to everybody.
All right. Well, maybe we can try to focus on that, trying to get some new bodies in there, unless.
As far as officers, though, Wendy, I mean, I take the minutes because I don't mind writing, and I take fairly decent minutes. And you two guys do what you do because you're the central main people of the committee, and you're doing your position, and no one wants your job. So no matter what, you're going to be in your position until you leave it. I don't think anyone's going to step forward and say, I want to be treasurer or I want to be president, and we're going to have a runoff or anything. It is.
But we don't know. There might be someone who is interested, and I don't want anybody to feel like we don't have that opportunity.
You're going to craft the letter. So if you want to, you can put that in there,
to be honest, also, I could see certainly asking for new members, but I don't think anyone's going to vote for someone to be president or secretary or treasurer who hasn't attended any meeting up until now. So, you can try to get new people.
David can be the new president. David can be the new president.
No, thanks.
No? Oh, come on. I thought he was going to say yes there for a minute.
The other thing we could also have it be a rotating position. where everybody does a 3-year stint as president or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking about ways of spreading the fun around.
Right.
Sharing the
Well,
love.
Sharing the love.
Here's the thing, though. This group right here is the part of the yearbook committee that does all the work. Okay, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I understand what you're saying, but
Well, if anybody is interested, I'd be happy to step aside. But let me say that at least to, the small group we have here. But I think it needs to also be said to the members of the Friends, if anybody is interested in jumping in.
On that note, we need to pick a date.
Well,
I'm going to have a really busy last week in October. I wonder if we could maybe do it on the 18th, or is that
Yeah.
too soon? Because we need to maybe it's too soon though, because we need to get the thing out in the mail and.
that's
do you
kind of
think?
short.
All right, I guess the 25th.
Well, I'm not going to be here the 25th.
Oh, okay.
So can we do it? And can it be in November?
Well, it can't be on the 1st. Um,
How about the 8th?
I guess we could do the 8th.
Is that too
Sure.
far? Is that too much time elapsing?
No, I'm just trying to think of, I don't think our bylaws are so specific that it says it has to be in October. So I think November 8th would be okay.
yeah, I think it's just an annual meeting. I'm pretty sure.
Right. I mean, if we need to have another bike path meeting before that, we could
No,
do that.
I don't see any need for that. I mean, personally. Okay, November 8th?
Okay. At 7?
At 7?
Sure, we can do 7. Okay, so we'll start with the Friends meeting,
Okay.
and then we'll just transition into our regular meeting just like usual. Does that sound okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Can you get out of here? Jesus Christ.
All right, at Pioneer Valley Bike Week, we decided we weren't gonna do anything, so I should take that off. Anything else?
Let's see, George from Northampton was at the park and he said something about trying to get some posters to us. And I told him that Liz was kind of our connection.
Okay,
So I don't know if he connected with her or if he's going to drop them off to you or what, but
okay. That's another thing, Terry. We have our, a couple kiosks, and you could help us with putting up posters and taking down posters.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. So Monday, November 8th is the next meeting at 7 o'clock. And Wendy, do you have last year's letter, or do you need me to send it to you?
no, I've got it. I can just start working on it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. And John, we'll see you at 1:30 on Wednesday, and then Terry, we'll see you at 3 o'clock on Wednesday.
Sounds
Right.
good.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, nice meeting you all.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
All right. Everybody
Okay,
have a
Barb.
good week.
All right. You too.
Okay.
Thanks, Barb.
Bye.
Bye.